What's going on, everybody? Got a special guest today, Adam Baker from one of my favorite personal finance blogs, Man vs. Debt. Adam's actually in the process of launching his first course, his first Get Out of Debt course, which is called You vs. Debt, appropriately. And his big launch is coming here really soon. So I was excited for Adam to kind of sit down and share his story and also share more about his course, You vs. Debt. Stay tuned for an awesome interview. Hey everybody, it's Jeff Rose of Good Financial Sense and SoldierFinance.com. I got an awesome guest with me today. Adam Baker of the blog Man vs. Debt is here, and he's got some really exciting things to share. Just real quick, I just want to say I love Adam Baker. Adam Baker is a stud. We started our blogs around the same time, and I seriously, when I say this, it has been a privilege and an honor to go with you through this amazing journey that you've been, not only with your debt, but also with your family and your wife and your child. I mean, it's just been awesome to be a part of this, and I just feel blessed to be able to sit here and talk to you today. But for those that don't know how awesome you are, can you share a little bit about your story and your blog, Man vs. Debt?
Sure. Well, thank you so much for the kind words, and I'll try to live up to the hype that you've injected into me today. So we got started about 2.5 years ago. Our journey started about 3.5 years ago, our financial journey. At that time, I had just failed out of college, but had started a business on the side, and my wife was finishing up college. She is a teacher and has graduated, but she was just finishing up at that time. And we weren't destitute. We weren't at a point where we couldn't feed ourselves, but we were at a very unconscious point in our financial life. And that is, we were young and we were just putting it off and pushing it down the road. At that point, we were in our young 20s, about 22 or 23, and we had racked up about $18,000 in debt of what I call consumer debt. Cars, jewelry, loans to family, credit cards, just non-mortgage and non-student loan, just $18,000 of debt that really represented bad choices. It's like you can kind of make a case for student loans. You can kind of make a case for a mortgage, but you just can't make a case for jewelry and credit cards and loans to family. We were being unsustainable and irresponsible. And at that point in our life, we decided to get married. We got pregnant 3 months after we were married, and we both decided to change career paths. So it was a very hectic point in our life. But luckily, 9 months after we got pregnant, as happens, as you know, for those of us who are lucky enough to make it through the 9 months, we had our daughter Milligan. And when we brought her home from the hospital, that finally gave us the clarity to step back and just realize how big of hypocrites we were being. I used to joke that Courtney and I would always make fun of people that were, consumeristic or that were unsustainable or being irresponsible. And we really realized that we had those same behaviors and we were in that same situation, and it was embarrassing. But luckily we were able to gain that clarity and start to turn things around. So our story goes, we set a big passionate goal. This was before I had a website, before I knew Jeff Rose, before I knew any of this. We said we want to sell everything we own. We want to pay off this $18,000 in irresponsible, unsustainable debt, and we want to travel and spend a year in Australia. All right, so this was our big, sexy goal in our life, and we set about doing that. And over the next 6 months, we made some progress, and we found out what habits worked and what didn't, and we really buckled down, and we made good strides, and I got involved with the personal finance blogging community. So I was reading books and reading blogs, and I said, I love this community. It helps motivate me. It's really helping us stay on track. I want to be a part of it. So I started Man vs. Debt. So this is after we made the decision, after we had done it for a couple months. I started this accountability blog essentially to track our progress, and my progress specifically being the man in Man vs. Debt. Yep. And a few months in, as we started to share our journey and our tactics and what was working and what wasn't and how I felt emotionally about the process, it started to catch on. And we started to attract a readership and attract a community that's been able to have a great back and forth. So as inspiring as our story has been to some, I consider myself very fortunate to be in that position. We've had like thousands of stories that have emerged from our community that have been inspiring to us. Right. The short version of what happened is we did pay off the $18,000. We also saved up $17,000 within that year, which was life-changing. Never had more than a couple $100s in the bank. Now we were looking at $17,000 after the $18,000 was paid off. And we went to Australia, New Zealand, Thailand, came back to the U.S., spent 6 months RVing around the U.S. recently this year, and have now settled into Asheville, North Carolina. So our life has been completely different, all of a result of opening our eyes and realizing, how unsustainable we're being and committing to attacking that and then logging that progress online. So that's the short version. It was kind of long, but that's the short version. We could go on forever about all the details.
And
That's been our life for the last 3 years, as you know.
Yeah, and that's what makes your story so amazing, because it's not just one thing. I mean, it's putting your life on hold, selling all your crap, and moving, overseas, with a young child. I mean, that's a story in itself, and I think we could talk about that for hours. But then
Sure.
you follow that up with this, RV trip cross country, and it's just been one amazing adventure after another. So I think when you were featured, I think it was on USA Today or Yahoo Finance, about your traveling, and I remember going through a lot of the comments. A lot of people were, just basically were hating on the whole thing because they didn't know your story, they didn't know everything about it. And
Sure.
one of the comments was like, "Well, how does he support his family? Why he's traveling?" And
Sure.
could you just kind of address some of that, what you've been able to do with your online efforts?
Yeah, it's been a journey for us. The important thing was when I started Man vs. Dead, I had no idea that was going to be my full-time gig. I had sold my real estate business to stay home with Milligan, my daughter, for the first 6 months of her life. And I realized I was bored and I was not built to be a stay-at-home dad. So that was a wake-up call, but I realized that I needed to build and create something. Like, I wanted to be in business, I wanted to be working, but I didn't know that was going to be Man vs. Debt. For the first 6 to 12 months, I had no idea that I could even make money through Man vs. Debt, really. So in the beginning, what we did in order to live is we paid off our debt. That sounds obvious to people, but that eliminated a lot of our expenses. So we really dialed down the expenses in our life in order to be able to travel. Additionally, we saved up money. So that was one of our plans. I told you we saved up $17,000. So now that our bills are almost nothing and our savings just skyrocketed, you can very easily see how that equation is much more easy to support. When we first started out, when Man vs. Debt was in its early days, I wasn't making much money. So when we went to New Zealand, Courtney actually taught for 7 months while we were in New Zealand. So we traveled to Australia, then we went to New Zealand. Courtney got a job. Her employment in New Zealand was also a cool adventure for us. It was an awesome experience to get to live in Auckland, a new community to work and to be part of that. And her income, we lived off of that while in New Zealand. So we essentially bought myself the time in order to found a business in the right way. And that's where I delivered value first instead of having to strive for money. So I was lucky that it wasn't lucky. I mean, we built our life in a way that we were able to sustain one of us working on a business while the other helped support us. And we did that by having a very low debt hold, by having very low expenses even when we were traveling. Now, to get to more of the point of your question, after Courtney had worked and supported us for a while, Man vs. Debt started to turn a phase. And that was, I had given away enough value, and I had heard from enough readers and gone through the process of writing and honed my skills enough where I understood how I could help people in an even deeper way. So I started to explore, what are the real things that people are struggling with? And I realized it was having a community and a support structure to fight back against debt. They wanted specific instructions on how to sell their stuff, because that was what readers resonated with when we talked about how we sold our stuff. They wanted specific instructions. And a big portion of people wanted to know how to grow a community online. Maybe that was for a business. Maybe that was for a nonprofit. They just wanted to know, how did you build this community online? So I developed my business principles or packages around those very specific problems. So again, I built the community first. I looked into the community to say, what are the real problems here? What are the ways I can really help people? And then I built products like any business will that I thought would really, really deeply help those people. So 95% of the writing I do, just like you, Jeff, is free. People use it, they apply it, they put it in their life, and I hope it's super successful. But we've also discovered that we can go even deeper, and we can spend months and months, and if we create books and guides and courses and classes, that we can help people in an even deeper level, and we simply charge for that. And I've been very fortunate for about the last year and a half to have the full-time income that supports my family be from this transformation that we've taken in helping people with their finances and sell their clutter and build momentum with their online communities.
Yeah, and I mean, for those of you that don't know Adam's writing yet, I highly encourage you to go to his site, go to his blog, because I just love your writing style and the way that you're able to bring people in. I mean, for me, it's always been a hard thing for me to be a writer, and I think we talked about this one time. You said it's harder for you, but we might have the same initial hurdles to get over, but what you're able to put out by far, kicks the butt of my writing. So
you're being a little extreme in that case, but I appreciate your compliments, and it is tough. Like we've talked about before, I'm not a natural writer. I mean, I didn't write in high school. I didn't write in college.
I call BS on that one, by the way, but okay.
I just never was really attuned to writing. I just backed into it again, but I backed into it because I did have a really big passion about getting us out of debt, getting Courtney and I to a point where our finances were stable. So while I wasn't a trained writer, or I didn't even like writing, I was writing about something that was so emotional and so important to us that I think that's what helped in the early days grow that community, or it helped me, I guess, get over my hurdles with writing, is because I was so passionate and into finances 2.5 years ago. So now I try to do that same thing. I try to talk about, whether it's by video or by the written word or by audio, I try to really focus in on things that A, I'm passionate about, and B, that I know can really help people. And so I guess that's how I stomach writing. Yeah. I'd much rather be doing video. So hopefully I transform myself to be able to present and help and teach people via video. But I find when you're writing about something that you're really passionate about, it goes down much easier. A spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down kind of thing. Yeah.
You put out a lot of good products. One of them was Sell Your Crap, where you basically show people how to get rid of their junk, that they've accumulated. But what I want to talk about today is your new passion with your new product course that's coming out. And could you just please kind of tell us a little bit more about what you've got going on? Because I'm excited as well to hear about this.
Sure. Yeah, it's a class. I finally buckled down and really put what I knew about finances, what we've gone through the last few years, what thousands of people in my community have gone through as they've changed their lives the last few years, and I buckled it down and made a 6-week class. So essentially, everyone starts on the same page. We'll have hundreds of people going through a 6-week course that is designed to deliver content every day. So every day, people are going to get a lesson. They're going to get a specific challenge and a worksheet that coordinates with it. So in the past, I had wrote an ebook about my principles, and I had sort of outlined. We gave some budgeting sheets, and I was really proud of that. I was really proud of that book. We've gotten great feedback, but I realized it didn't go deep enough, meaning that to make a long-term lasting habit change, which is what changing your finances is. You can't just read one book or get budgeting forms delivered to you and your finances get better. This is something that is needs immersion to really have it stick for people. And I've realized that, and so I've designed the 6-week course to be very immersive, in addition to having a community. So when I delivered the ebook and we got responses back to people, again, they were good, but we just didn't have that community of people who wanted to go deeper. We had Man versus Dead, and they could answer questions on the blog, they could ask questions on the blog, but we needed something private where people could find other like-minded people in a private environment where they could share their experiences and get motivation. So we knew right away, as soon as we wanted to go deeper with that ebook and create that course, that the forums and the community and the members and the profile pages and things were going to be a big part of that. So it's sort of a 2-part beast. We have the framework, which means here's your daily lesson, here's your specific challenge, and here's the worksheet we expect you to fill out. That's a very important part of the phase. It takes about 5 to 20 minutes a day. And we expect people to do this every day for the 6 weeks. But we also have then that support structure in there where people that are in the community have profile pages that they can fill out. They can explore other members. They can see who's doing the challenges and who's not. So if you complete the challenges, we have little badges that we were able to give. So you can find people who are excited and passionate, are on the same page as you, and they can communicate. Because one of the big things we found in the online world is we've noticed there's a lot of people that feel alone in this journey, and that the success rate of the people that can surround themselves with other passionate people is much higher than the people who have to fight at it alone. Not everyone, when we first started to pay off our debt and want to travel overseas and do this, not everyone I guess thought we were sane. There were a lot of people in our life that were kind of thought we fell off the wagon. But it was that online support structure that really helped it. And we have a very supportive family, so don't get me wrong. But at first, they didn't really know what was up. But online, we found that acceptance. We found those people that were like, do it. Yeah, this is an awesome idea. We support you. And that was such a big part of our success that we wanted to replicate that in the U versus Debt forums and with the U versus Debt members. So that's what it is, Jeff. It's just a 6-week course. Daily lessons delivered. So start to finish, we start with mindset. Then we talk about the data, all that boring stuff like tracking your spending and budgeting and all that that hardcore stuff is in the middle. Then we talk about cutting expenses, slashing expenses. We talk about earning more, the fun part of personal finance. And then we talk about making it stick. So we have just a framework that people go through and a forums where they can really get that support they need. And I'm really excited. We've had one group kind of go through it in a beta test sort of way. And I'm really excited. This is the first time that it'll be like publicly available for people to go through.
And uversusdebt.com, that is the hub. That's where people need to go if they want to sign up for the class. In your mind, when you created this course, who do you see as like the perfect fit, the person that needs to be in this course, that needs to be get their debt life taken care of?
Yeah, I like to say, and I hope people take this in the right way, that this is a course for people who know. This is a course for people who can help themselves and who know that they should be doing better. And I say that for a couple of reasons. If people are really, really, really struggling, like they're in the middle of a bankruptcy, let's say, for example, and they're going through a lot of problems that need professional legal advice, or they have to just have lots of advisors in their life and stuff, they're not going to be really able to turn their situation around with this course alone. The information will be great, but that is not the best fit for this course. On the flip side, if you're already out of debt and you're living an abundant financial life, that this course is going to be too basic for you. This course is for people who know they should be doing better, who have all the information that they need to do better. Meaning that they know what they should be doing. They may not know how to do it quite yet, but they know that they should be doing better. They even know what they should be doing, but they just need the structure, the framework, the accountability on a daily basis, and the other community members to make it happen. Those are the type of people that in 6 weeks are going to see dramatic results. Turning around a financial situation takes longer than 6 weeks. We both know that, right. But the spark and the framework and the changing of the habits can be done inside that 6 weeks. So our goal is to provide that environment where that can be changed, that framework, that basis, and then have people execute on that over the next 6 to 18 to 2 to 3 years, whatever it takes for them to dig out. We want to give them the spark, the community, the motivation, and the habit change, and then let them continue that on. People that are excited, that can change, that know it's time for a change, and that know that they should be doing better. The whole motto for this, Jeff, is time and time again, people come to me and they talk about their finances holding them back. And I just really hate that. Like that because we were there where the finances is like, I want to do this and I have this idea to change jobs, or I have this idea to create this business, or I have this idea to create this charity or help these people. But we can't do it yet because of our finances, because I have to keep working, because I have to pay this, because I have all this responsibility. And as you and I know and believe, and I know you believe it too, like finances should empower people's dreams, not hold them back. And we've allowed ourselves as a culture to be inserted into a system where we have all these dreams and all this freedom, but our finances are holding us back. So we just want to blow the roof off of that. We want to flip the tables so that people are not being held back by their financial situation, but they have a financial system of habits and a financial way of living that empowers them to do what they want. So that's really the gist. If that sounds interesting to people, that's the type of people that I think will get the best results in the course.
That's great. And I can just tell by talking with you, and actually I've been fortunate enough to see some of the videos and the worksheets that you provided, and I can tell that your heart's in it. I can tell that this is going to help tons of people. So if you are in that situation, I highly, highly encourage you to check this course out. I'm excited for it for you and for everybody that's going to go through it and change their lives. So I think that's freaking amazing, dude.
Well, thank you so much for your support. We appreciate it. We are excited to see all the members inside.
That's awesome, dude. Well, I want to wrap this up. And any last comments as far as just with the course and You versus Debt and everything going on?
No, that's great, man. We've covered it and touched the bases. We're excited. We have some free courses and stuff. So and people will know real quick when they come to my website, we're not high pressure people. If it's a great fit, we'd love to have people go through it. If it's not, come check out the website, check out the free material, and go from there. We have lots of free stuff as well. So again, I just appreciate your support. We're just excited, and it's been great to talk to you today, man.
Me too, man. All right, I'll have some links for the You versus Debt underneath, and I look forward to it, dude. Thanks, Adam, for joining us, and we'll see y'all next time.
See ya.